So don't allow there to be breakdown of law and order. Then never allow it at all. Never, never. Whatever it takes to avoid it, avoid it. You know.
In this particular crisis, especially here in Jos, from what we've gathered, working as reporters on site, it seems a lot of people are complaining of soldiers, in fact, being a part of some of the killings.
Well, that is what we hear. That is what we hear. I was on the panel, the Presidential Advisory Committee on this crisis. It was headed by Mr. Lar. The president, inaugurated it, and the crisis here on the Plateau in particular. We were here for quite some time, and we went round, the week when there was this massive destruction all over the place. We went round. These are the stories you hear, from people. But there are stories you cannot verify. You can't verify. There are stories you hear. The armies are also part of it, because some of the places that are attacked by people in army uniform. From our interaction with some of the military people, they said, some said, it is easy to acquire these military uniforms anywhere now. People who want to be mischievous go to buy this military uniform and themselves and begin to use, so widespread rumors like that, but nothing verifiable, even if there is, I just believe it is people who go in, and buy because they want to revenge. They acquire uniforms. These are available anywhere. You can buy army uniform anywhere now. So they buy and wear them, and then you see them. You think they're army people. They're not. So I think these are part of the thing. But it's a wide rumor. But we couldn't verify it, and we couldn't say this was exactly what it is.
The committee that you just spoke of, what is it? What is it about? What is the task?
It was set up by the president, and it was, there have been crises here in the state over the years. There have been crises. Government will set up commissions. They will look at it. Nothing will happen at the end of the day. Another one will come up. A government will set up another committee. Nothing will happen at the end of the day. So when the last one happened, when we had this massive destruction on the plateau here, the president then decided that we should go and look at it. And, this thing is happening in Plateau State, where indigents of Plateau State, he mandated us to come and look at it and see what can be done, what has been the remote causes of this thing, what are the immediate causes of this thing. If we can go and look at all the reports that have been submitted in the past, we should all look at it and submit a comprehensive report to them, which we did. And that has been with the government. The report has been with the federal government. There are recommendations that are supposed, some part of it are to be implemented by the state government, some are to be implemented by the federal government, some are in conjunction. The two of them should combine to do that. And but it is still with the federal government. They are yet to take a decision on that and let us know.
What are the causes of this crisis? Or cause?
Well, there are causes. If you look at the history of all the crises that have been erupting here in the state, especially when it started in earnest in 2001, when it started, it was political. There are political conflicts that turned religious. One party against the other. What bothered us at the end of the day was, if it is political party conflict, why are the churches affected? Why are the mosques affected? These are the things we've not been able to differentiate.
Keep talking, sir.
Okay.
You can start by if they were political, if they.
Yes. If there were political conflicts, why burn down churches? Why burn down the mosques? But people, it is easy to use religion, to invoke sentiments than any other thing. People who think they are losing use religion. People who think they are winning use religion. So over the years, every crisis that has erupted here has erupted because there was one unfairness done to somebody, some group of people in their political party against the other. All over the years. That's what we have noticed. And even the last one that came, the last one, in 2008, we all know that it was a political crisis. But because of our religious backgrounds, people who think they are not being favored, try to use religion, to get people's sympathy, to themselves, I know that at the inauguration of this committee I just talked about in the presidency, the religion was absolved from this matter. We say it's not a religious crisis. It was taken as a political crisis. It is politics that has brought everything, It is just that, members of the political parties, when they feel cheated, if they are Muslim, they turn to the churches and burn them. In the process, if they are Christian, they say, okay, well, they have burned our church, we will also go and retaliate, burn their mosques also. But the truth of the matter is that all the crises that erupted, not one single one was religious. They are all political matters. But people go and hide under religion to perpetrate, because they think they whip more sentiments with religion.
Why don't we have a state police? Wouldn't that help? Wouldn't that cut down costs?
Well, state police, that is a federal matter. It's a federal matter. It's a national issue now. And there are pros and cons to it from all the debates we've been having all these years, because there have been debates about that, about the necessity of the police, being decentralized, to the states, and part of people's argument against it is going back to the old days when we had this Yandoka, this thing you call Yandoka, Native Authority Police, that the government used, to suppress opponents, political opponents. People are even thinking now, if you go back to that system of regionalizing the police, they think the governors will use it to suppress their opponents. This is the argument that is going on for. But again, you look at the position of the governor, he's in a dilemma. He's the chief security officer of the state. If he's chief security officer, then the police commissioner has to be under his control. The SSS man has to be under his control. All the other security officers have to be under his control. But in the case we have now, they are not. They take their directives from their boss at the federal level. So the governor is in a dilemma. Like the recent crisis here, you hear Jang saying at all times, that he's the chief security officer, but he doesn't control the army, he doesn't control the police, he doesn't control. So, once you can't control them, then you can't be sure of the state being secure. So there's been arguments about that, and the argument still goes on. There is merit and there is dismerit in having the state police. There are merits and there are dismerits.
Out of the several crises that have happened, there hasn't been much, of any kind of public sentence for the perpetrators.
That is part of the problem. Like I told you, we've had this series of crises in the past. Government sets up commission. The commission comes up with recommendations, and part of it sometimes is to punish culprits. That government just keeps the report. That's how it has been. There are about 4 or 5 of such before the last one the federal government set. And part of the complaints here is that there are crises. Government census commission. People are. There is a lot of investigations. People are found to be culpable, but they are not punished. Tomorrow, since they are not punished, tomorrow they are encouraged again to do another one. So this has been the problem. But in the last one, the report we gave, part of it, people should be penalized. People found to have been part of this should be penalized, so that it serves as a deterrent for tomorrow.
And have you personally witnessed any person?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But are they under federal government custody? Or?
Like I told you, the report is with the federal government. Part of it is to be implemented by the federal government. Part is to be implemented by the state government. Some part are to be implemented jointly.
If the federal government, if they're finding it difficult to bring these people to justice or set examples using some of these people, so we have a lesser probability of this thing happening again, why shouldn't they just involve the national, the UN security or peace mission or some external
No.
source?
It hasn't gotten to that stage. No, involving the UN, part of this external or international body, it hasn't gotten to that stage. It's something we can handle here effectively if there is the will. If there is the will, it can be handled effectively. Part of the problem, is just this lack of will to implement decisions. Maybe, in the list of people found to have been